Hello, everyone. Welcome to this recording on paragraph writing. Mrs. Thomas is here, and I'm just going to kind of go through this rather quickly, just as a reminder. I know some of you have covered paragraph writing before in previous grades, but it's really important to make sure that this skill set is down pat, because this is going to be the foundation of pretty much everything that you write in English, whether that be an essay or a response question. A paragraph is very, very important. So you want to make sure that you have your paragraphs planned out ahead of time, that you know what the format is, what the organization is, and what you're supposed to be doing. So I know you've all probably seen a paragraph before. It's a chunk of text, usually indented. It's organized. It's usually, maybe 5 sentences at the minimum, maybe 12 sentences maximum. It's focused, and it's all about one main topic. So it's focused on one idea. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you have a very clear topic sentence. This is the main idea to your paragraph. So this is going to be, what are you arguing? What are you saying? This is beyond a fact. This is your main point. What are you telling the audience? What is the main idea? Then you have point 1, point 2, and point 3, all of which are directly and obviously supporting this topic sentence. This can be arguments, examples, analysis, explanation, something that directly supports that topic sentence. And then last but not least, you'll have a concluding sentence which wraps everything up, which pretty much just restates your topic sentence, reminds the audience what you just told them in this paragraph, and it might connect even to the next paragraph as you're going through. So as we continue down in our presentation, I want to share with you an example paragraph. So let's read this example paragraph together, and I will highlight some key details. So here we have the topic sentence right away. Now that's very typical to have the topic sentence right away. Our topic sentence here is, students should take notes when they are reading. Now you'll notice this is an argument. They're arguing something. They want to prove this to you. You know right away that this entire paragraph is going to be related directly to that sentence. This author is going to be using examples, explanation, analysis to prove that to you, to tell you why. So their first point, note-taking is a skill they can develop in their high school year, and it is especially vital in university. Good. Directly relates back. First, good transitional word there. By the very act of writing, they are engaged in active and not passive learning. That's an argument, specific argument. Research has shown that students retain less if they only listen or read, but by writing and talking about the material, they can retain it better. Very specific argument there. They can retain it better. In addition, nice transitional word again. Note-taking requires students to process information. Good, because they cannot write down every word, they have to choose the most important points, paraphrase, and summarize information. Even if the notes are lost, the act of note-taking, that should be note-taking, means that the material is better understood and fixed in their brain. So that was all one point, one supporting point with some explanation. This is the last supporting point. Finally, students can use the notes they have taken to review for tests and exams. It is easier to reread notes than to reread the whole textbook. Then their concluding sentence right here. Thus, note-taking is a valuable practice for students. This paragraph is 152 words. So that's a good size paragraph. You don't want it to be too much less than that, much shorter than that. You could probably go to 125, and you could probably go all the way up to 200 maybe. It just really depends on what the purpose of the paragraph is. But this is a good structure of a paragraph. All right, let's keep going along here, folks. So first, and most importantly, we want to make sure we have that topic sentence down. This is probably going to take a little bit of time to organize your topic sentence, as this is the main idea of the paragraph. Most often, it's at the very beginning of the paragraph, as we saw in our example, but sometimes it's near the middle or even at the end. But it should be clearly state the point of the paragraph. It should be very obvious to the audience what your topic sentence is and what you're going to tell them. It's a guideline for your entire paragraph. It should state the idea but not announce it. It should be specific but not too narrow and broad. So there's some rules to a topic sentence. It shouldn't be an obvious, broad, generalized statement. It should be specific but not way too specific. So it should be, here's some examples here. So what we have is the first one. This is just a fact. Some students have part-time jobs. It's too broad. Okay, great. Some high school students have part-time jobs. What are you going to tell me from that? But instead, here what we can do. Part-time jobs have many benefits for high school students. Okay, good. Now you're arguing something. You're trying to convince me of something. You're going to tell me that having a job has a benefit for a high school student. We can also have topic sentences that are too specific. People who drink 3 times a week socially have an increased risk of mental health issues. Now that could be a good topic sentence if you're getting really specific into the scientific evidence behind this. But in general, if you're having more of just your own opinions and thoughts that you're supporting, you could make it more like regular drinking can cause a variety of health concerns, including mental health. You also want to make sure that your argument is focused. For example, this topic sentence has way too many ideas. While taking online courses, it is important to always schedule your time, contact your teacher, and stay on track. There's too many ideas there that would be better suited later in your paragraph in your supporting points. Instead, your topic sentence could be the key to success in an online course is goal setting. And then from there, you can have a jumping off point to talk about, first, you should schedule your time. Secondly, set a goal to contact your teacher. And third, always stay on track. Those could be your supporting points in the paragraph instead of including it all right there in your topic sentence. Another key point, don't include I think or I will argue or in my opinion. Things like that are not necessary. It's assumed that when you're writing a paragraph and you're arguing something that is what you are thinking as you are the audience, as you are the author of that work. So it's not necessary, and it weakens your argument. If you say, I think part-time jobs are a good thing for students to have, that's a weaker argument than just saying part-time jobs are a good thing for students to have. Your topic sentence should be able to stand on its own. It shouldn't need other sentences around it for it to make sense. I should be able to see very clearly this is your topic sentence. I could pull it out onto its own document and it would make sense to me what you are going to talk about. And it should be super clear what you are going to argue. What are you going to tell the audience? And generally you want it to be something that's debatable, something that someone could come up and say, no, I disagree with that. If your topic sentence is snow is cold, no one can really disagree with that because that's a scientific fact. But if you say snow is super fun to play in, someone could come and disagree with that and say, actually it's not. I very much dislike snow. So you want it to be something that could be debated. And most of your work as you're writing paragraphs, especially essays, is you're trying to convince the audience of something. You're trying to tell them something or teach them something. So you want it to be something that can be debated. But it's not always the case. I mean, if you're writing a paragraph for your science class, it might not necessarily be something that could be debated, but it would be something that you're still trying to convince the audience of or teach them. So once you have your topic sentence down and you followed all of those rules, you're going to now start supporting your topic sentence. Now, you're obviously going to want to be doing a little bit of research and brainstorming to get your supporting sentences down. You might want to provide further analysis, further argument, explanation, maybe some facts or ideas that go beyond the topic sentence and really prove your point. Ideally, what you want is a combination of examples and analysis. So it's not enough just to put in some quotes or some facts without supporting it with your own words. I want to make sure that you know what you're talking about. But at the same time, your own words can be so well supported with a quote or with a fact or with some research. So it's great to have a balance between those two things. For example, if we take the topic sentence that we had above, part-time jobs have many benefits for high school students, then we take some supporting details. So the first supporting detail, Students generally work at low paying jobs. This doesn't actually say any benefits for high school students. This is just a fact that's generally related to it, but we're not looking at any benefits of it. Then we go to students can gain benefits from different jobs. Okay, that doesn't really support the sentence because we're just restating it. So we want to make sure that we're supporting it. We're going further beyond it. Employers can pay students less money. This is a benefit to the employer, not to the student. So we're looking at how do part-time jobs benefit high school students. That does not support that. Students can learn useful skills on the job. This is good. That's good. That supports a benefit for a part-time job. However, it would be even better if you could get more specific than that. What do you mean by useful skills and on what jobs? Part-time jobs are an important source of income for students. Good. That is a specific benefit, income. Students who work gain important work experience, which looks great on a resume. Good. Specific support for why a part-time job would have a benefit for a student. It would give them work experience. Tuition is expensive and it's difficult for students to afford to live. This is part of a reason, and I can see where you're going with this. You're saying tuition is expensive, therefore then part-time jobs could help with that, but you need to make that connection clear. It needs to very clearly support your topic sentence. All right, so then what you would do is you'd organize your paragraph. Remember the format. You'd have your topic sentence, you'd have roughly 3 points with support, explanation, illustration, example, and then you'd have a concluding sentence. All right, you're still with me here. So here's an example of a paragraph that is organized in this way. Canadians can do much to reduce environmental harm in their everyday practices. That is the topic sentence. That is what this paragraph is going to be arguing. First, they can reduce the amount of garbage they produce. They can use products with less packaging, such as bulk items. Now you notice that support 1 is actually 2 sentences. That's fine. It could be 3 sentences. But it's very clear that that is one argument. Reduce the amount of garbage they produce. Support 2, Canadians can also limit their use of resources. Driving smaller or electric cars, such as an SUV or trucks, reduce the amount of gasoline burned. They can use less energy by converting to energy-saving appliances and shutting off unnecessary lights. That's the second support. You see, we have 3 sentences there, but they are all directly related to the argument of reducing the use of resources. Support 3, finally, they can safeguard the water supply. They should use water wisely, not watering their lawns unnecessarily, and washing their cars excessively. It is essential they do not pour toxic waste down the toilet, sink, or water. That's your third support. You'll notice that the author of this also is using some transitional words such as first and finally. That's good. You want to be using those words to connect those ideas together. Conclusion, all Canadians must do their part to protect the environment. See, that is connecting right back to this. It's pretty much restating it in a different way. It's not producing any more and introducing any new information, but it's wrapping up that paragraph into a nice little sandwich. So you have the bread, you have the meat, and then you have the bread. Finally, the concluding sentence, like I just said, you're not introducing any new information. Some shorter sentences might not even have a formal conclusion. They might just kind of stop, and that's okay. But generally, a paragraph in an essay should have a concluding sentence, at least to connect to the next paragraph. So after you've written out your topic sentence, you've brainstormed some good support, you've written it all out in the organization. Want to make sure that your paragraph there's unity, that the one main idea runs throughout, and that the purpose is very clear. You have transitional words and phrases such as also, in addition, first, second, likewise, similarly. These are good words to include, to connect your ideas together, and to kind of bring the audience along on your journey so that they know where you're going, they're following along, your points are clear, it's very well laid out. Finally, consider your coherence. Does everything stick together? Is it logical? Are the ideas clear? Does the audience know what you're talking about? Make sure that it is super, super obvious and clear to the audience what they are doing. So the audience is usually your teacher. Don't assume your teacher knows anything. spell it out, because at the bare minimum, your teacher wants to know that you know. So make sure you are fully explaining, fully supporting, and being very specific, and not just having these generalized phrases, but you put your specific knowledge in there. And make sure that it's a variety of sentence types. Don't start every sentence the same way. Don't have every single sentence the exact same format, the exact same type. Try to use some introductory words and phrases, transitional words, maybe change around some of the ideas so that it just makes it more interesting if the sentences have some more variety, as well as your vocabulary choices. Avoid using the same word over and over, or using a boring word when there's a better word out there. Something like a thesaurus is great. There's so many online thesauruses. Even Word has a built-in thesaurus where you can go synonyms and you can look at what words would also work there. So make sure that you're using that wisely. And proofread your work. Always, always, always proofread your work. At least you proofread it. If not, get a parent or a sibling to read over your work before that you submit it, and make sure that you're just checking off to make sure, okay, do I have a good topic sentence? Yeah. Okay, my support, does it make sense? Is it logical? How's my spelling? How's my grammar? Good, 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 good. It's super important to make sure you're looking over everything. And that's it, you guys. Thanks for coming along this journey with me. If you have any questions about paragraph writing, feel free to let me know. All right, thanks.